All right, we are in Oldbury and this is project number 9 here. Let me just pop this camera down 1 second. You know what? It's gonna fall, isn't it? Anyway, it's fallen. There we go, that's better. All right, so project number 9 for this place, which I'm super excited about. Here's the recent lines we just did actually. So these were recently installed. These are a single part system that have been put in, an acrylic if you like. We've got them going across the car park over here as well. So they'd previously marked in themselves where they wanted the lines to go, and they'd used a spray paint, as you can see here. And you know, that was good, but it's not the best. So we added in the zebra crossings for them that run all the way across. It's a bit of an old surface there, but as you can see, there's more work to be done here. So we've still got all the car parking spaces that need replacing. These are all worn out and they'll need doing over the next 12 to 24 months. We've got more to replace here, more zebras. Oh, this is where our walkway's going. He's chalked it all out. So we've got a walkway that's going to just nip in across here in blue, and that'll run, I think, just to the curb, and that's job done. So it looks like he's installed a line just here. Yeah, nice. And that's just joining up along to here. Should look pretty good. So I'll paint this little bit in here and then I can turn around and get it from the other side. It'll make sense in a minute, let me show you. It's only because I can't get the machine in any closer, but I'm going to join it on this bit of white line that we've got here so that it blends in nicely. Because where you join it, inevitably it always comes out at a little bit higher pressure to start with. All right, let's get this one in. That's as close as we can get to the fence. What we're going to do though, if I spin it around now, I'm going to get it this side right to the end of the curb. Come up towards it and spray over the top. Nice little joint. You barely see where the joint is. All right, I'm just going to follow the laser in all the way down. It's really awkward to concentrate on just the laser. You get like a tunnel vision sometimes, especially when you've got a camera in your face as well, and you're kind of conscious as a camera that blocking your view, plus your laser, you're sort of trying to focus on, and then trying to talk. Nicely done. There's the first line in. Let's get the other way. So I'm going to do it exactly the same, where I'm going to join up, going this way for a couple of meters, and then I'll turn it around, paint from the inside. All right, so that's the little project here completed. Job number 9. It's John on his way. And that's it. Nice little walkway lines. Walking man symbol. As I say, it's a tiny little job, but it was a nice one to get, certainly to get invited back to. I always like things like that. So yeah, they have got somebody in doing some resin flooring here at the moment as well, so they're putting that in, I think, this week. We did some training on resin. We went to a company to do the training on it, but actually it's one of those things that we're not quite ready for, if you know what I mean. We do really, really good work doing lines, and you know, whether it's car park lines, walkway lines, or even warehouse line marking, but this thing's a whole resin floor. And much as I would love to say, look, give us the resin floor work, we'll do it, it'll be the best you've ever had. The truth is, I'm conscious that sometimes other people have a better skill set than us. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to admit, because as a business owner, you're sort of thinking, well, I'll just train my guys and we'll do a better job. But this is a really, really big job, and it's outside of our area of expertise, quite honestly. We don't have enough staff, equipment, or experience, really. So that's it for today. I'm gonna head back home. John's finished for the day, he was only in for this one job as well. So both gonna head off. And yeah, tomorrow the guys they're staying in Southampton, but we've got 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, so they're staying in Southampton, and then we're back up actually in Birmingham again on Friday for another company. So yeah, should be a good week. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm gonna head home, go take the dogs for a walk, see Harry, get some footage put together for you guys.
Because again, I'm lacking with all the footage, trying to find time to get everything filmed and edited.
And just, you know, hand in my footage to Harry, because I realized that as much as I enjoy editing, Harry is so much better than I am. and that's great. So I'm gonna go hand that in to him, and I will see you guys whenever I'm filming next. Okay, so today we're doing school run first thing, heading to nursery, and then I'm heading back to the Wildlife Trust. Now, you guys may remember I did a visit there in the last episode, and basically it's a woods, and I thought, you know, we were there looking at car parking spaces, but it's pretty much just mud and trees. Not a great deal I can do, but what they did have were speed bumps, and what we've agreed to do is jet wash all of the speed bumps and then reinstate them. Now, it's a very, very narrow lane, and ideally we'd like to put it in thermoplastic because it's a very quick cure, very easy to do, but I'm concerned I've got to get the jet wash there. The guys are on a different install inside up in Birmingham, which we're going to try and get to later on as well, but I need to basically get there, get it jet washed, then get it dried, then get the lines installed over the speed bumps. The problem is it's a single track road with residents on it, so it's going to be a real pain, I think. So let's do the school run, head over there, and let's crack on with it. So it's been a little bit of a challenge so far because I've got to jet wash the speed bumps because they're so mossy. It's a very narrow road and quite a few people try to get past. What I'm going to do, I figure you can see the old line running across the edge, so I'm going to re-put that in, and I'm going to box in across the bottom over the edge, box in there, and then what they want is this cross. Yeah, so I was thinking basically bring from here down to the middle, back to that corner, drop down, obviously do the outside, go to the middle, back to here. So I figured that would be easier and tidier. So yeah, that's the third one cleaned. I got to clean 3 more, and then I got to get the dryer out, start drying everything, and then once that's done, I can start painting. Now I'm going to use an MMA for this. I was going to use thermoplastic, but as you can see, this is a very narrow road with very little turning space, and my concern is bringing a lorry down here is easier said than done. This is the car park we were at the other week when I was like, you know, we want to look at some car park lining, and I pulled up here and I looked at it, I was like, seriously? They're not in the best condition. As you can see, a lot of the surface is damaged and worn away and just covered in crud. So we've got to clean it all up first. We've got a hell of a lot of drying to do. Whew. All right, let's do the next bit. Alrighty, another one done. It's not right. So look, it's not been ideal, right? Because the jet washing part, all complete, got that part finished. The problem is the hammer jet that we had fixed has decided to stop working again. And as a result, I've not been able to dry the ground. When they stop working, boy, are they an absolute nightmare. I'm gonna head up to Oldbury because the guys are doing a job up in Oldbury and I wouldn't mind seeing it, so I'm gonna head up. This is project number 10 for the same customer. So, like silver lining, okay, this project for me here, this is our third project for this customer. This hasn't gone amazing, but we've got a resolution. We're back on Tuesday. We're gonna bring, I think I am gonna bring the thermo truck actually. One of the things I found is the residents, despite having been told, you know, the road's shut for a few hours. They have still been driving up and down, and that's fine, totally get it, they live here. But what it does mean is actually MMA, oh you bugger, takes 20 minutes. Thermo will be done in 3 or 4. I can get the lorry in and turn it there, so I'm gonna bring the lorry up on Tuesday. We're coming past anyway. So residents are totally cool with that, that's fine. Anyway, yeah, let's head up to Albury. I'll show you what we're doing up there. So I mentioned to you guys, I think this, we've done 9 previous projects on this site. This will be our 10th project. We were only here a week ago, and I think 2 weeks before that. So this is our 3rd time in a month. So we've got some zebra crossings, and then some nice big walkways it looks like going in down here. This building, believe it or not, is over 100 years old. From the outside it looks brand new, it's all been reclad. They actually used to build tanks here during the war. Quite an impressive place, to be fair. How's the laser guide? Sorry?
Still stand by it.
Still stand by it?
Yeah.
Good. Great little addition. You got nice and wide at 200mm then? You're going to paint in at 200mm, or you're going to go at 100? Are you spray machining it?
No, we're going to roll it because it's black and white and we couldn't get it over. We could potentially spray the white lines, but the white lines are only in between the zebras.
Oh no, I was thinking spray the yellows. Like,
it's white.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Luke, it's white, all of it.
Definitely?
Definitely.
All right. And they definitely want white?
Definitely want white.
All right. So, line markings are going to go in white. Normally we'd put a walkway in yellow. Customer said white, definitely, that's fine, we're putting it in white. One of the things you'll see that we've got on this machine, this is our laser guide system that you can see on here. So we got these couple of months back now. These are the brand new systems. So basically they bolt on to your shot blaster, and then you've got like a little instruction thing on the front here, but basically you've got an on and an off switch, that's it. And then you can plug in 2 lasers. You've got a charge port at the bottom, connects up to a laser that's sat on a clamp, and then that laser there shows us where we're putting our line in. Really cool bit of kit. Now this one's got the bracket for the smaller shot blasters. There are some brackets for the bigger shot blasters. So yeah, so if you go through some of the other shot blasters, you might move the laser to the front of the machine instead and reposition where it goes. These are the same lasers that we also use for the line marking spray machines as well. So they're really, really cool. And in fact, I think the ones, these ones that we sell, these are about £1,000 cheaper than anywhere else you can buy them as well. So pretty good saving. But yeah, so laser driven shot blasting machine for this one. As Lee was saying, it's got in 200mm wide, 1.2 meters for the walkway. And then we got zebra crossings just cutting down here. I'm gonna go and find the resin flooring, see how that's looking, that I told you guys about as well. So this is the 2-part epoxy flooring I was talking to you guys about. We didn't install it. It's got a lot of marks on already. I think they've done a great job, to be fair. So yeah, it's looking, in fact, here's some wet stuff here. Looks good. I think they've done a nice job. All right, not the healthiest. I went for a chocolate muffin in the end, but pretty cool. Looks like they've got loads of bits going on here today. They've got guys in putting brand new barriers in across the whole site. The 2-part epoxy flooring, as you can see, literally stretches the whole length. It is a huge project. Anyway, I'm gonna catch up with the guys, eat my muffin quietly. Look, I'm kind of gonna wrap this week up right here because, I mean, we could stick around all afternoon. The guys have still got all the white to go in and seal. They've got the zebras in down this end now, so you can see last zebras going in, but they've still got the walkway line to go in, and then obviously all the white to go in. So it's still a good few hours worth of work, and quite honestly, it's Friday, I want to get home, end of the week. You guys know what it's like. So anyway, question of the week, because you guys know I like to end on a question. This one came from Snarfimus, I think it says, Snarfimus. It says, how do you get into warehouse line marking? Is it cheap? I started doing parking lots with a roller and tape. Well, Snarfimus, I can promise you doing warehouse line marking is not cheap. I can't see a cheap way of getting involved in warehouse line marking, unlike car parks. So you mentioned you started car parks, or parking lots as you call them, with tape and a roller. And I think that's a very viable way to do it. The better way, I would say really, is if you use an MMA as opposed to paint and a roller. Simply being, I find that the solvent paints are designed to be atomized through an airless spray machine. So you do get a better finish when you spray it as opposed to just hand roll. But hand rolling is a viable way of doing it. I do find, however, that using an MMA with a draw box, although it's a bit more expensive, it does a great job. It lasts a lot longer. But honestly, I've rolled plenty of bays. In fact, you guys see us do the EV bays. We use a solvent-based acrylic. We pour it straight onto the ground, roll it out, and we've never had an issue with it. So yes, you can definitely start that way. But when it comes to warehouse line marking, it's so much more expensive. You know, you could get started for a few £100. In fact, the way you're talking about doing it is buying a £5–10 roller or $10 roller and literally, you know, get going. With warehouse line marking, we still use rollers, but I mean, just on this job site that we've got here, to give you an indication of sort of basic equipment that we have, and this is a really small setup we have with us today. If I just walk down this way. So to start out with, we've got, you know, a little blower because we need to tidy the area. Obviously, scuttle and paint rollers, super cheap. So, you know, arguably for the blower and bits and pieces, you're talking 200 quid maybe. But this is where it gets expensive, right? So we've then got a shot blasting machine. Now, shot blasting machine like this would probably set you back around £8–9,000, give or take, for the shot blaster. Then you've got a laser guide to go on it as well, so that you can keep everything pointed nice and straight when you're doing it. They're going to set you back another £1,500. Then you've also got a manual pointer in case your batteries run out at any point. Again, going to set you back another few £100s. Then you're going to be adding in, let's say, a mag brush like this. I think these are about £8–900, give or take, with the shipping. So you're already over £11,000 minimum just for those two. Then we've got the vacuum. I think we paid £1,500 to £2,000, somewhere around that. So you're probably around the £13,000 mark just for those bits. You've got the hoses, and then of course you've got the cables. The cables came in at almost £1,000 again, just to add the cables. So at which point you're probably closer to £14,000 as a very, very basic setup. And that is the smallest vacuum, shot blaster, and mag brush we have. It only goes up in cost from there. In addition to that, for this side, we've also got some UV sealer going down, so to protect the lines. Now that, I think, set us back around £12–13,000 again. And that is one of these machines right here. And that sits in this little box from Holland. And it is this, the Gen 6 Decorad system. This is designed to work with the UV sealer that we're using today, which is this one right here. It is a Rapid Shield UV. So like, if you're going to get started in warehouse line marking, I think you need a minimum £13–14,000 budget, which, you know, you can convert to dollars. In addition to that, oh, I should mention, for power, we also have a generator that powers everything. The generator set you back another £4,500–5,000. So you're probably talking £19,000 as well. And of course, we then have backup equipment. Oh, 110 volt transformers, another couple hundred quid. Paint mixers, again, probably another couple hundred quid for the proper paddle mixer ones as well. And then of course we have spares, you know, spare shot blasters, spare cables, spare vacuum systems, 3-phase vacuum systems. It adds up and up. And of course you need a handy way to transport it all. We have a big trailer. These are about £8,000 for a trailer, on top of the van, etc., to carry all the stuff. So I would say arguably, if you wanted to start on an absolute budget, you could probably do it for about £18–19,000 for indoor line marking. If you wanted to add UV, for example, which you don't need to do, you can just go for 2-part epoxy. It's, you know, every bit as good. Well, no, it's two different products. When I say it's every bit as good, I mean it's really durable. It's totally different in terms of curing time. UVs are really good if you're going to get into food, those sort of environments. You've got, you know, low or very, very limited VOCs, which is the smell, but also you get that instant cure But don't be sold on everything being instant as soon as you put it on the ground. You still have to do multiple coats of paint. So one of the misconceptions I think with UV is people look at it and think it's instant. And when we talk to customers, they're like, so like as soon as you put it on, it's dry? Well, no, you've still got to run the UV machine over it. But the difference is we've actually got to paint it like 3 or 4 times minimum, if not more, to actually get the color right because it's too thin. Oh, and by the way, it is super expensive. So yeah, if you wanted to get started on an absolute budget, 18, 19,000 pounds, I guess if you convert that to dollars, probably $22,000, $23,000, unless you're in Australia, in which case it might be about $35,000, $40,000. If you wanted to add UV, they're another 13,000 pounds or 15,000 euros. And then again, a trailer on top. I would say the setup we've got here today with us is probably in the region of 50,000 pounds, which is what, 65,000 US, maybe 70,000 Canadian, maybe 90 to 100,000 Australian dollars. Yeah, so it's a pretty expensive setup. Euros is probably maybe 60,000 euros nearly. So yeah, it's quite a pricey setup. Maybe not that much in euros, maybe 57,000, 58,000 euros. But yeah, it's expensive to get involved in warehouse line marking, but you can do it for under 20 grand. The question is, should you? Now, the thing I think is really important here, right, is because warehouse projects are much bigger, and personally, I prefer doing them because I'm not impacted by the weather, but I make more money doing car parks than I do warehouses. And the reason being, a job like this one today. So today, it's a very small little job. We're putting in some zebra crossings, some walkways, nice little walkway at the end. Arguably, it's, you know, it's just under the £4,000 mark for us to put everything in today. If I were doing this in a car park, it would be obviously a lot less money, probably, you know, not even half, but I would have been done in about 2 hours flat. With this one, it's a full 8-hour day. So with car parks, I can do multiple jobs like this a day, but you've got to find more and more work. But you know what? They're quicker to do in terms of selling them as well. People buy car parks fairly quickly, I find, in comparison to warehouses, simply because of the time it takes to organize moving stock, finding a period where it's shut down for the day, and trying to organize everything. So car parks are easier in that respect, plus they're more forgiving if you make any errors. But yeah, that's my take on starting with warehouse line marking. If that's the route you want to go, it's definitely viable. I think massively underserved. And I think if you get really good at it, that's when you can start expanding. I mean, what we do, we start with like acrylics and single part epoxies, and it's kind of like training wheels is how I would describe it. It's like baby steps into it. But when you get better and better, you can start doing resurfacing, things like this. You can see the floor's in a really poor state. We can start building up the floor. You can start using 2-part epoxies, resins, etc. And that's where really I think the big money is, but there's more competition for it as well. What we do is specialize in these fast installations, relatively low cost. If you were doing this in a resin-based system or an epoxy, arguably this would be 2.5, 3 times the price. So it's a lot cheaper doing it this way. It really depends on what market you're going after and how you're marketing your services in that respect. So yeah, that's my take on it. But yes, you can get started. I think you need a £20,000 budget really to get going if you're going to do it properly. And the other thing is you need people that are happy to learn and do it with you. And it's one of those things that you almost need to be experienced at before you start, because like I say, it's unforgiving in some ways. You know, if you shot blast it wrong and you don't get things perfectly straight, you make a mistake, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So you've got to be pretty good at it. It's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So look, that's it for this one. I think, what are we, episode 12? I think this is. That's it for this one. Anyway, I will see you guys, episode 13. Take care, see you soon. Bye.